Subscribe and ring the bell. This video is going to cover piping bags, also called pastry bags. I have a collection here of various sizes. My favorite size is 16-inch. The reason for that is because the buttercream, when you put it in here, really should only be about halfway up the bag so that you can get your hand around it to squeeze it. So you don't want to fill this up all the way. Therefore, you can't fit that much in these bags. So that's why I like the larger bag. Now, having said that, I have some smaller bags as well. I have 14 and 12s. The 12s are also, they're good for smaller decorating tasks. So it's good to have some smaller ones. You may also want to have a couple of plastic ones just in case. For various reasons you can use these. I don't use them very often, but I do have a couple. And you can also make your own bags. Now, I don't have parchment paper in the house today, but I do have wax paper. You can use wax paper or parchment. Parchment's better because it's not slippery. This has a little slippery surface on it, but you can make a little emergency bag out of paper. In the playlist, there is a detailed tutorial on how to prepare your bags. So I'll just go over that briefly and then you can check out that tutorial and see the details. So you have a new bag and it's a little bit longer than this. You need to fit it to the coupler. Now the reason you need a coupler is because you want to be able to exchange the tips so that you don't have to keep cleaning the bags. You have various tips, you just change them like that. So you want to prepare the bag to be able to fit the coupler in. This one's already been cut. And as you can see, some of the threads are showing through. The threads are so that you can screw this on there. So that way you can easily change the tips on your bags. There are some exceptions, such as these tips, which are the ones that I use for icing. This is called an icing tip. This will help you to put an even coat on your cakes. And also it's great because it saves your shoulders a little bit from all this motion, which can cause some issues in your shoulder. So I have two bags dedicated to the large icing tip. Ideally, you would have 16 to 18-inch bags for that. And then I have another dedicated one to larger tips. So if you have some larger tips, here's the smaller ones, the normal size ones, and here's the larger. One bag dedicated to that is a good idea. So I have a 14-inch, the larger coupler. So you just have to do the same thing with this, except I have found that you don't need to actually cut it all the way back. It's able to grab on to the threads through the bag, in this case. In the playlist, you'll find a paper piping bag tutorial that shows you how to make a paper piping bag. I'm just gonna do it real briefly here. So you start with a triangle. Now this is not a perfect triangle and it's got a rough edge, but it still works. You take this corner here and bring it around and under. And you meet it with the edge, bring the other corner around, and then just wiggle it a little bit back and forth until you get a point. At this point, you would want to tape this, ideally, because the wax paper does slip around a little bit. So you would tape this, and then you would put your tips right in there. And you would cut the bag just a little bit, so the tip would come through. Just like that. You can also not put any tip in there and just cut a tiny little hole if you want to use this for writing. One more thing about the piping bags and taking care of your piping bags. Washing them. So I had a question from somebody, it was a while ago, but somebody asked, how do you clean your piping bags? They are nasty to clean because they get really, really greasy and you have to use super hot water and soap. And I usually do them by hand, but then once in a while, I will pop them into the dishwasher. Reverse the bag so the greasy side is out, and then you stick it on the top rack of the dishwasher, and that does the trick. They come out really nice. Use a towel to dry them off, and then what I'll do is I'll find something. I have these old bottles, and I'll just, because sometimes they're still a little damp, I'll just put them on here like that, and they'll dry. Little cake decorating hack. Now, as far as filling the pastry bags, I guess I will go ahead and show you how I do it. Now, I've seen people put these into glasses and then open it up and put it on the glass and then fill it. But I don't do it that way. I do it the old-fashioned way. Got a fresh batch of buttercream here. So if you guys need help with buttercream, I do have a buttercream course, Cakes with Lorelei Academy, and I will leave a link to that for you below. A really good sturdy spatula helps a lot. I use my hand. Just put it right in there, and then just use your hand to scrape off the excess. And once you have the amount that you want to just get the air out. So you want to press it down and then twist the bag. It sits right in the palm of your hand. And that's how you hold a pastry bag. I will get into more detail on how to actually do the pressure piping, but right now I just want to cover the pastry bags and how to take care of them. These things last a long time. You won't need to buy that many of them. I would highly recommend getting these kind of bags versus using plastic and then having to throw those into the garbage and the waste. And I think you're much better off with these reusable bags. If you guys have any more questions though about any of this, please just leave me a comment below. Bye-bye.